Hi, my name is Molchanovs and I'm a world champion freediver. Today I'll share with you 5 exercises which will help you greatly with your equalization skills and will push them to the next level. And for this we'll use the EQ Trainer. Version 2. Follow the link in the description, and there is a program which will train you with more exercises and will give you gradual progress, and that will even be more beneficial in this video. All those exercises we'll do today with the EQ Trainer, they require like a proper preparation for the breath hold, and prepare for these exercises the same way you would prepare for the dive. Don't rush into any equalization exercises. Do the exercises too fast, then it creates additional tension in the breathing muscles, and then it reduces the quality of the exercise. So always make sure you're very relaxed before the exercise starts, and visualize even how you would use the same muscles underwater. You can use the mirror to understand which muscles engage in the exercise, and then close your eyes and increase awareness, sensitivity in this area. It's very unusual muscles, so this connection needs to be developed. So being like very attentive and aware of what's going on is very important. So to summarize, it's 3 things. It's very important to prepare for the exercise, be like with proper relaxation, spend some time performing this relaxation, calm down your breathing, and start the breath hold and exercise in a very calm way. And second is visualize how would you use the same muscle in different position, in the water, in the head down position. That helps as well. And 3 is be very attentive, increase awareness of the muscles that you engage, and to even help with that, use mirror to see what works. And then you can also alternate between opening your eyes, looking in the mirror, closing your eyes, and being more attentive to the muscles which are engaged in the exercise. For this exercise, I'll use EQ Trainer version 2, and this one has digits, which tells you how much resistance it creates. So now you can precisely create resistance, and also it has ability to change their resistance with the balloon on, and the resistance now adjusted outside of the balloon. In the previous version, the resistance was adjusted inside the balloon, and now it's possible to do it even with an inflated balloon. Okay? And also this one have a bit of support on the side and a little bit of dent for the fingers, so you can hold it just with 2 fingers, and it frees up second hand to control the chest better, to control the abdominal muscles better. So this shape allows, with a little bit of extra support, to really push it against the nostril, and with the second big thumb to pinch the second nostril. So this EQ Trainer is adjusted for better, to free up the second hand and have a better grip. Okay, let's start the first exercise, and the first is quite simple but very, very efficient. It's to gain the control of the soft palate with an inflated balloon pushing against the soft palate and the closed vocal folds. And we spend a bit of time like just understanding this pressure, and then the goal is to learn how to open the soft palate so the balloon is deflated through the nose and not into the lungs. So it sounds easy, but it's actually tricky. I will just demonstrate first. And for this exercise, open their EQ Trainer to the number 4, so it's full open. And here we just spend a bit of time holding the pressure, and I understand how it pushes against the soft palate, how it pushes against the soft palate and the vocal folds. Then make sure that my muscles are relaxed and I can have a bit of freedom, and my closed vocal folds do not engage any muscles around, right? Any neck muscles. And I was releasing air through the nose. Here, the problem that can be is that we might get the air into the lungs, and to avoid this, we can start with a full inhale and alternate between full inhale, breath hold, and exhale, breath hold, like passive exhale breath hold, because this will increase awareness of the vocal folds, and for some it will be easier to do it with inhale, and for some it will be easier to do it with exhale, and it just depends which position of the closed vocal folds is more comfortable and where you understand it better, right? With more practice you can do it with both inhale and exhale, but to have a better understanding of the closed vocal fold and be able to open the soft palate, it takes a bit of adjustment, so try to do with both ways. So inhale, hold the breath, close the vocal folds, and then understand the pressure on the vocal folds, soft palate, and let it go through the nose. And even the first attempt can be one open. So you pretty much just open the soft palate and like let it go everything out. So let me do the two options. The option one with the inhale and breath hold. First, of course, I inflate the balloon. Okay, inhale. Make sure that you finish it with the same volume of air like you started. If the balloon pushes into the lungs, it's hard to push for it into the lungs when you already have air, right? So that's the benefit. It's a bit hard. Now I'll do the same thing, but I will alternate. Open the soft palate, close, open, close. And I think about like opening and closing the nose. I'm thinking about the making this noise in the nose, like something close to the snoring, like it's there. This is the muscle we want to control. And the important check with the hand is that we don't exhale. We don't help with our lungs, right? It's not like, that's the biggest mistake. That's where we can use the mirror, and we don't want to help opening the soft vocal folds, and that's how we open the soft palate. That's a mistake. So keeping the vocal folds closed, not helping with the lungs and releasing the air by like doing these funny sounds in the nose, that's the goal, okay? So that's option one, and option two is same thing but with exhale, which might create a bit of extra sensitivity in the area. It might be a bit harder and shorter breath hold, but it's a good way to check, because now if you will get air into the lungs, you'll really feel it, okay? Showing two options with the exhale. Preparation, couple of seconds. I will not do it for a long time, but you can do it for longer, just to make sure you start the exercise relaxed and focused. So it's a bit longer, like open and keep it open for some time, like, or start without one opening, then 2, 3. And then continue to be able to control it more precisely, like opening and closing faster, okay? So that's the second one, second option. Exercise 2 is similar exercise. We focus on the soft palate control, and we now put our EQ trainer into the nostril, and we feel the pressure, how the inflated balloon pressurizes and pushes on the soft palate, and then we learn how to open it 1 time, then 2 times, then 3, 4, and get into more control, like releasing the air from the balloon through the mouth. And for this exercise, you can start with a pressure 4, so it's more pressure, and then alternate to 3 and maybe even 2, so it's a smaller pressure for more sensitivity, but the majority of the load will be with the number 4, okay? Okay, so let's start with inflating the balloon. And we want to find the position where it's do not leak. So you can even try to fight it first, and then try to say ah, oh, like sounds, and it can leak. It can start leaking. And first is to find a position how you can hold it, and then open, close. So that's the muscle, right? Soft palate, and you progress from holding it, opening once, holding, opening a couple of times, holding the pressure, opening like with more frequency, and even holding can be improved, like I showed you, like with just holding the air with the soft palate, but then also being able to say like some sounds, and that's hard when you start to say words. Then the pressure, it's hard to keep the pressure. Okay, so practice, that's the second one. And to alternate the pressure, you can inflate the balloon with a 4, because it's just hard to inflate it with other numbers. Inflate it first. And then squeeze the balloon. And while it's squeezed, you can adjust the numbers to their number. I will do with a 2. So adjust it to number 2, and with the number 2, it's less pressure because it's more resistance. So 0 is closed, 4 is the easiest one, and it'll be less pressure, so it's a bit more sensitivity. It might be easier. So if it doesn't work with 4, actually go to the more resistance after you inflate the balloon, of course, and then see if this pressure, less pressure, will help with this exercise. Okay, let's try. One, two, three, oh. So with 2, it's very, very gentle, right? So it's deflating really slowly. So that's another opportunity to do this. 3 is somewhere in the middle. 3 is a bit faster. Okay, so that's something to master the second one. Exercise number 3. Now we inflate the balloon, and we make the pressure from the balloon push the air into the closed vocal folds through the nose. So balloon is at the nose and inflates our all airspace in the mouth, in the neck, and we close it in the vocal folds. And make sure that the vocal folds are closed, but everything is relaxed. And the best starting position for the exercise is with the vocal folds being in the lowest possible position. So I'll just demonstrate the first initial start position, and then we'll proceed to the movement. Okay, so inflate it first. Again, use the number 4 initially. That should be enough to easily inflate it. And if the pressure is too much, again, after you inflate it number 4, make it a little bit tighter to the number 3, and there'll be a bit less pressure on the vocal folds, right? But number 4 is a standard for this exercise to start. Number 3 will make it harder to equalize, to push it back into the balloon. So that's going to be harder with the resistance. Okay. Inflate it. Prepare for the breath hold. Again, this exercise we start with a full inhale, and then to make it harder, like alternate, make it with empty lungs. So I make sure that the pressure pushes my vocal folds lower, like in the lowest possible position, right? So it's like relaxed, vocal folds are closed, but all the muscles are relaxed. And the actual exercise will be transitioning the air from the mouth and neck space back into the balloon without the lungs. That's where the second hand being free helps a lot. So you can put it on the chest, on the diaphragm, and control it without exhale, right? So the goal is first make sure the vocal folds are closed, and then squeezed this inflated space. That's where inflation of the neck and the cheeks will help us to become more aware of this area. And then I will demonstrate all 4 ways how to transition back. So the 2 principles the same. It's just we transition first with the full volume, which will be P lock, full volume. The second lock, which we'll use for transitioning the air back into the balloon, is T lock, the third one is K lock, and the fourth one is H lock. So 4 locks. Let me demonstrate them. Okay, free up the second head, and the first lock is the P lock. The second one, T, 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 T. The third one is K. I'll target in the K position, K, 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 K. Majority of the movement happens at the neck. And the last one is the H. Okay. Whew. So that was all 4 locks. And for better control, prepare for each breath hold very well, relaxed, in a relaxed way, and then spend enough time doing each lock. So now I did all 4 together, but you spend enough time doing just one at a time, okay? And in the third exercise, another thing you can do is you can make it tighter. So again, inflate on the number 4. Twist the balloon a little bit. And now, when you do the increased tension, with switching it to the number, so let's say 2, again, just so I can demonstrate it with a bigger resistance. Now, you just will need to engage muscles more, right? So the pressure to push the air back into the balloon will be more, so it's harder. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, so with this pressure, you see deflation happens very slowly, and that's why it's harder to manage, but that's the next steps for the exercise. Exercise number 4. This time we'll do the reverse packing into the balloon, which is a tough exercise, so it might not be something if you never did the balloon exercise before with the EQ Trainer. So if you haven't done them, focus on the first ones. If you already have enough experience with the EQ Trainer, that's something that can be a good challenge. So here, it's exercise for the deep Frenzel, and we do the passive exhale, and then do a couple of reverse packs with the different locks into the balloon, right? So like without the balloon, it looks like we do the reverse pack, and push with the P lock, T lock, K lock. And with the balloon, it will be resistance. So 4 is the least resistance, and like 3, 2 is the most of the resistance. Passive exhale, reverse pack, P lock, T lock, passive. So in this exercise, we don't want negative pressure in the lungs. It's just to like have a bit of cycles with resistance and with the alternation of reverse packs and equalization, reverse packs and equalization. T lock. K lock is the smallest portion, okay? So that's the 4th one, and with this one, make sure that you have quite a low resistance initially, but If it's hard to manage the airflow, which pushes back from the balloon, reduce it, right? So like start with 4, but then if it's hard, for some, like because of the reverse pressure, the soft palate doesn't have enough time to close, then reduce it to the number 3 or 2. Okay, let me show how it will look with the reduced pressure. Change it to, let's do the 2 right away. So it's easier because it doesn't push back so much, right? So T-lock. And K-lock. That's it. So try both, more resistance, less resistance, and start with which works best for you. Exercise 5 is like a cool down, like it's an exercise which is just focusing on the stretch of all their equalization muscles and a bit of coordination and mobility as well, of course, but just after all the hard equalizations with a proper like equalization into the balloon, this one is nice and it's simple. It's getting the inflated balloon pushing against the closed vocal folds and working the mobility. So we allow the pressure push our vocal folds, closed glottis down, and we just move it up and go down. So we work on the mobility. It's just like a nice cool down exercise. So focus on the globulus mobility, and we do it without lungs. So you control with your arm on the chest, on the diaphragm, so you don't actually breathe. It only happens again with a like a pushing from the neck, and there's like it's closed and there's zero connection between the lungs and their mouth space. And the alternation of this exercise, the next step will be the same thing but through the nose. Okay, but let's do the same one, the first one again with more resistance. So more resistance here is a bit easier, so you can actually make it, let's say 3. So not 2 but 3. It'll be less pressure and it'll be more time for you to think and understand the pressure. Okay. So it's a cool down exercise. Do it with different resistance and just make sure you work on the mobility of their glottis. It's a nice stretch of all the equalization muscles. Okay guys, that was 5 exercises which will help you a lot in equalization. They will make your dives much more enjoyable and breath holds as well, because there is less stress in equalization and we are very much like aware of what's going on and confident in our equalization. It's less stress, more pleasure, better diving, safer diving as well. Okay, so do those exercises, and to have more exercises to practice and to subscribe to the longer programs, like several weeks in our platform, follow the link in the description. And there is a program which will train you with more exercises and will give you gradual progress, and that will even be more beneficial in this video. This video is just like a little set of exercises, but even if some of them didn't work properly, don't think it's impossible like to master them. Like it takes practice. Equalization is a practice, and it depends on how many hours you invest into these exercises. And once you invest enough hours into this exercise, they'll become automatic, right? So equalization is not something you will need to practice all the time, and it's like a bicycle. Once you learn how to do it properly, it will stay with you, right? It's not something you will need to refresh like every year. Sometimes, yes, a little bit of refreshment, but very quickly we remember these skills. Okay, so practice to make it automatical and to ensure it's the least possible efforts to equalize, then it becomes very, very enjoyable. Okay, so again, follow the link for the base training plus programs. Those programs are made by the world's strongest freedivers, and beside equalization there are more programs in the platforms. If you're not a member of our community and you don't have access to the platform just yet, there is a way to get access to the platform. You'll follow another link in the description to become a member of the community through the BTIO process, Base Training Induction Online process. Okay, so join the movement so we can help you to take your freediving to the next level, and subscribe to the channel as well to get more of this useful content. Bye.